Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We have Zach Rascher, who is a candidate for Vanderburgh County Commissioner. I am Sally Rideout, Government Affairs Specialist for the Southwest Indiana Chamber, and I'm going to turn the conversation over now to Tara Barney, who is the President and CEO of the Southwest Indiana Chamber, for the interview.
Thanks, Sally, and thank you, Zach, for your time and for your decision to run for office. We always appreciate people that are willing to stand up and serve the community. So we tip our hat to you. I want to start out with a question that has been a long-standing priority of the Southwest Indiana Chamber of Commerce, and that is doing what we can to get the I-69 corridor completed in a productive way. We're at a point now where we're expecting a record of decision sometime in the next few months, which is the final environmental impact study on the I-69 bridge crossing. But the new bridge is stalled over the decision on what to do with the two existing bridges, whether to keep one of them or both of them, whether they can be toll-free or not. We have a long-held position of thinking that both bridges are critical to our region and that they should be available to our public to circulate back and forth toll-free. Tell us how you will be able to support the project and how you might be helpful in leading the community's clear desire to keep both these existing bridges intact for the future.
Sure, definitely, and thank you for having me. To start with that one, I would say that I am in agreement that the bridges should be free for the residents. I feel like there's a lot of commerce that goes back and forth between the two cities, and I think that would be crucial. On top of that, all the people that may live in one side and work on the other, I believe it's necessary. I would do everything that I could to work with the leaders in our community, as well as at the state level, to ensure that is a priority and that it is taken into account in the final decision. But whatever I could do to work both here locally and at the state level is what I would do.
Thank you for that. We appreciate it. My second question is going to be no surprise, but love to have your thoughts on the county budget with the impacts of COVID, some on the county, some on the city, but certainly on all of our local governments. I'd like to hear a little bit about your priorities and what you think is worthy of being either protected or even increased as far as how you might guide allocating resources. I realize that's not your number one job, but you get to administer them. And where you think there are opportunities for savings.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think with everything that's happened this year and with the county budget that have been passed in the recent past here, we've been able to, with county council having good conservative principles, saved money. We've got a rainy day fund, and I think that we will be able to make it through this. I know that the projection is that the shortfalls really won't be seen in this budget, but in the next budget. And it's great that county council was able to be so fiscally conservative for so long, to put us in that position, which I really do believe puts us in a good position on the back end of this of the pandemic, and we'll be able to not only continue to provide the cost of living wages or wage increases or the contracted wage increases that we may have with firefighters and police officers, but we'll be able to continue to do that, as well as continue to grow the community and do the things that are necessary once we are out of crisis mode. And so I would do everything, again, that I could in my power to work with the county council to make sure that we are continuing to be fiscally strong and prepared for anything that were to come in the future as well.
Thanks. That kind of leads me to another of the business community's pretty significant priorities. I'm going to say very significant priorities. We think it's very important to our region that we grow our population. We've been essentially stalled in that objective for a number of years, and in particular, we think there's value in putting an emphasis on the 20 to 34-year-olds, not just because we love young people, but because they have a very long career path and trajectory in front of them. And they have a chance to, build families here and contribute to our economy for a long time. Can you give us some thoughts on the programs or the infrastructure investments that you think can help to make this area more attractive to all people to consider our region, but particularly to young people?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that assessment. We need to be attractive to the future generations and do what we can to keep them here. I will say that I'm one that in my mid to late 20s decided that this was, where I was going to settle down and put my roots down here. I'm from this area, grew up in Evansville and Newburgh, but always thought that I would leave. And, once I came back, I realized that everything I needed was here. But how do we continue to do that and keep attracting good talent? I think that we first need to ensure that we have good paying jobs. I know that we've done an excellent job both in the city and the county here over the past decade or so in recruiting jobs. And I believe that not only do we have good paying blue collar jobs, we need to continue to build the infrastructure for white collar jobs as well. I currently work with SS&C Technologies. I think that's a great example of a company that built quite a large office here, and the CEO was from here and wanted to help bring back to this community. But we need to continue to recruit companies like that and other larger, maybe regional or national companies. On the flip side of that, I think affordable housing is something that we need to continue to strive for. In order to keep people here, we need to make sure that it's affordable for them to live here so that they can enjoy everything that we have to offer. In doing that, I think that some of the code updates and regulation updates that are happening now need to continue to happen. And, while we have to make sure that safety is our number one priority in building new homes or building new multi-unit structures, we need to make sure that the developers and the builders have what they need in order to build a cost-efficient home that can be seen as affordable housing.
Well, thank you. That's good to hear. I want to ask you kind of the question that I probably wouldn't have asked last year, but as you've watched and thought about this role during the past 6 months of the pandemic, what are some of the lessons learned or epiphanies you've had that will maybe influence how you take on a role of county commissioner differently than they might have had a year ago?
Yeah, definitely. I think that the role of a county commissioner is definitely being a leader in the community. And with everything that's happened from the job losses, the complete turning of upside down of how people work and how they're now communicating with each other, I think as a leader in the community, it is important to handle your governmental duties, but also to make sure that that outreach to the public is there, and that they understand that we're all in this together, and make sure that we're practicing the social distancing. It's not just a sign on the wall. We actually need to be doing that, and here's examples of us as servant leaders doing just that, and we ask you to join us in that. Help making sure that that we have the resources available to the local small businesses to get them to the other side. I know that we had the fund for Southern Indiana that really probably helped save more than a few businesses. Helping to put stuff like that together and just be a champion of the community. That's one thing that, although I've always thought of it as part of the role, is one of those that, with everything that's happened, shows just why that really is important.
Well, I have to kind of agree with your assessment. I think our local elected officials really have shown that they're part of the first responder group these days. You know, you might not have said that a year and a half ago. That's a good insight.
Yes, and that's a perfect way of putting it. By obviously our first responders that are there day in and day out doing the hard work come first. And I mean, no disrespect when we say that, but I also believe that local officials can be seen as first responders in a situation like this, and making sure that that they're doing their job as well, and all of that outreach.
I think that's a great point. So you've decided to run for this office. I'd be interested in you just sharing with me and with all of our constituents what your priority issues are, what you want to champion, what you see as those things that you want to bring to the conversation as a commissioner.
Sure, definitely. As somebody with finance and accounting backgrounds, as well as project management, I really want to bring some fiscally conservative ideals and principles to the commission. I believe that we need to continue to work with county council to pass budgets that are balanced and that will set us up for success in the future. And I want to continue to do that. I want to get everybody together and try to come up with a solution for our jail situation. I don't really feel like we have much of a solution right now. I don't think that paying consultants over and over to tell us what to do is a solution, and I don't think anybody has $90 million laying under their bed. So I think that we need to bring all of the principles to the table and figure out what we can do as a community, in the short term as well as the medium and long term once we are through the current pandemic and issue that we're currently in. Part of the private sector project management that I do is working with multiple different teams that sometimes don't necessarily see eye to eye or even have the same priorities, and being a leader and getting everybody to see the end goal is important to me, and I think that that's one of the big things that I would like to champion. So yeah.
Well, that's a great list, and it's been a great conversation. I've enjoyed. We've said hi, hello, but we haven't really spent much time talking. So it's nice to hear from you and to get a sense of your priorities. And we sure appreciate your time today. We'll be sorting this out, getting it cleaned up, and make sure that it gets out to our, not just our members, but all of our stakeholders, and it'll be out to the whole community. So we wish you the best.
Sure. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. It was fun talking to you all.
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks, Zachary.
All right. Thank you.